and those folks that are, just jumping on, we'll kind of let them do it. So first of all, thank you everybody for taking the time out of your day to join us in our Cloud and Power webinar series. So we have a pretty cool topic that we wanted to kind of review today, which is, as we all know, Mimecast is a big partner of ours, and we're going to talk about a newer product solution that they've come out with recently, which is their security awareness training. So as this space continues to mature and security continues to kind of get more important, there's a lot of things that you can do on, the edge, whether it's, firewalls, whether it's, spam protection, spam filtering. They can kind of help with limiting any type of attacks. But at the end of the day, really, the people are the ones that are the real kind of biggest point of failure, right, or the employees. So, having the security awareness is certainly something, and this training to kind of build into their repertoire is good, as well as depending on the specific vertical. It could be something that is a requirement for them to go through. So I want to go ahead and start off by, we can go to the next slide, Summer. So to start off, as always, standard, these are going to be recorded. We're going to send them out to everybody that joined. So you can go and go back and revisit it if you wanted to show it to some of your customers, whatever it would be. Obviously, feel free to leverage the content as needed. So first off, just to bring some awareness around the partnership. So I think as most of you may or may not know, Mimecast is a partner of ours, right? They're very much a leader in the space when it comes to anti-spam, anti-malware, archiving, continuity, large file transfers, secure messaging, healthcare, so on and so forth, right? So the way that we are set up within Mimecast is we're what's called an MSP. So there's really two different kind of flavors of distribution that you can do with Mimecast. As a reseller, you're basically just passing through those licenses and reselling to the customer. You don't really have a lot of the specialties of the in-house engineering to be able to onboard those customers from the provider side to onboard them or support them. We are, as an MSP or managed service provider, with Mimecast, everything happens through us. So, of course, we provide the licensing to the customer. We're setting it up. We're installing it. We're helping them get trained up on it. We're supporting it if there's any type of issues, things like whitelisting or blacklisting. That's all done through our support desk, and really helping them out from that perspective. So really, whenever, customer, let's say they're doing 365 with us or maybe one of our multi-tenant exchange or whatever it would be, and we have this, we're continuing to keep that consistency from a support perspective of coming to RapidScale for this. Again, leaders in the space, we're doing a ton with Mimecast. It is definitely a kind of Trojan horse type product where if they don't have it, they certainly should. They definitely want to understand why. If they do have maybe a competitor, maybe a proof point or whatnot, certainly let's talk about it. Let's compare what they have and see how we can help them out. So we do a ton. Again, standalone. We'll sell this stuff or provide it to a customer just as a single product. It doesn't have to be kind of bolted on to another product that we do have. So certainly something that we'll take a look at. So joining us today, I guess I kind of passed this part. We have Carrie Roberts with us, who's a director of sales for Mimecast and is a great partner of ours, a very good support system for us, helps us with a lot of things that we're doing. So we're very fortunate to have her join us and share with us some of her expertise. So welcome to the monthly webinar, Carrie. Obviously, we got big shoes to fill, right, from past months. So certainly happy to have you, and very excited for you to show us and demonstrate us what this new security awareness training is for Mimecast.
Andrew, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity and the opportunity to partner with RapidScale. We've had a long history together, and I think as we continue to add some functionality and some features, some other products and tools to help you and your sellers address some of those needs in the market. So just appreciate the time. Andrew touched on our point about addressing the human error. And if there's one statistic I would like all of you to remember, it's that 95% of the breaches that are caused out there are caused by human error. It's not because they intended to do something necessarily, it's just accidental or not understanding the risks that they may bring to the organization. 95%. So this is something I want to share with you, but in order to share it with you, I want you to experience it. And I'd like to introduce you to the way that Mimecast has had a change of the conversation. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be introducing you to two characters. They are human error and sound judgment. And so I'd like to introduce you to the training first.
And
Bear with me as I pull this up, you guys.
Yeah, real quick, one thing we'll add to this. So if you guys want to hear the video, obviously make sure that the audio is turned on your computer, or if you could possibly hear it through the microphones on our end as well.
All right, thank you. So if you've noticed, as many of you have probably been through some type of training before around security topics, they can often be very dry and boring. Mimecast has spent a great deal of money on content. We've made sure that we've used our creative director is worked for Michael J. Fox for about 10 years. He's written for SNL. And then we've used the Amy Poehler Upright Citizen Brigade for some of our characters. I'm here at the RSA conference, the security conference in San Francisco, and one of the really interesting things is we have human error and Doug in our booth. And it's amazing the crowds that they've drawn, because human error is just that. They wreak havoc, they cause problems. Human error, wherever he goes, is that kind of that devil on your shoulder, kind of directing you maybe in the wrong direction to do things. But that's the kind of content and training that Mimecast is using to change the conversation. The other thing about the awareness training for all of you is that this is a product that is agnostic of vertical, as Andrew mentioned. It's agnostic of size of company. Every company is dealing with the need to help educate their end users and find a way that it will stick. So many times they are either required to write training, or they're trying to find something out on the market, or they're sending out emails to remind people to not do certain things, and they're just not paying attention. I recently talked to one customer that is using awareness training. Their consumption rate, or their usage rate, is around 15%. It means 85% of their company is not taking the training, and they're trying to change that. Right now, our consumption rate, if you will, is in the low 70s to mid 80s as far as people that want to take the training. Once they start taking the training, they actually like it. Each lesson is about 2.5 minutes long, each video. At the end of that video, we ask a question to test their knowledge, and that leads to the ability to track and understand if they're taking the training, are they able to understand and make the right choice in the question, and then how do you track that long term? So again, this is a great tool, and I think as we talked to RapidScale many times, it's just a great tool to open up doors to opportunities and allow you to actually get a customer to speak to about these needs and the issues they're facing and trying to educate our humans. So let's talk about the categories. A lot of times you're going to run into various companies that are looking for a security awareness training, but they're only looking at phishing. Phishing is a test to test people's knowledge when they can test people for phishing. We want to cover a broader base of security topics. So we do cover topics like phishing, that can be phishing, smishing, vishing. We also talk about data in motion topics, information protection, passwords. We talk about office hygiene. And office hygiene is things like leaving sensitive information on your desk, tailgating into new offices, just making sure you understand, the sensitivity that could be in your own office space. GDPR is a big topic. As many of you know, there's customers that are dealing with that, and as different GDPR elements come into the United States, you're also finding that your international customers are dealing with that, but also even in the state of California, we're running into some similar like GDPR compliance regulations. We also have HIPAA, and then we have an onboarding. So because we're very tied to the Hollywood industry, we operate in seasons. And you're going to receive a packet from RapidScale with this content information, but at the end of each lesson, you'll see a number. The content you're going to get from RapidScale will actually identify that lesson for you and tell you a little bit more about the specific lesson. Let's go to the next slide. So an individual that you're talking to is usually going to be one of the decision makers, not the end user. The decision maker cares about measurement and identifying how are they going to show their return on investment. Mimecast does some very unique tracking, and this is actually a report that I pulled out of the system this morning, and it's a sample report. What it's going to do is show you, and again, this can be branded for the company's name, so it would not be branded as Mimecast or RapidScale, but the end customer's company name. It will show them statistically how many people, the first top dashboard where it says the 8 and 76, I know it's a little hard to read, is the number of lessons taken and the number of questions they got right. I'm going to talk about the risk score in just a minute, but let me scroll down. Mimecast is the only one that has been able to show an industry comparison. Every company you deal with has a competitor. So we're able to actually show the industry comparison. If you go just up a little bit, there you go. And we can show, if you're a manufacturing company, we'll actually take your score and compare it to other manufacturing companies. Now, because this is a demo that I pulled it out of, you can see that they're the same number. But typically, you'll see that the companies that take security awareness training have about a 35 to 40% higher score than those that do not. And the way we got that information was we sent out the question to thousands of points thousands of customers, and we asked them to answer the question without taking the training, and that's how we get that score. This sheet also shows you the individuals, the companies or departments that have the highest usage and the lowest usage. This allows a director or a CISO to go out and share that content with other leaders and indicate that maybe their teams need to get on board and take the training. We also talk about an attitude. So one of the things that Mimecast also measures is what is the view of an individual towards security. We ask that question twice every 6 months or twice a year, and that's really to gain an understanding of where they see security personally. And again, that creates an attitude tracker. If you scroll up to the top, Summer, I'd like to talk a little bit about the risk score. Like an individual, you have a credit score, FICO score. This is very similar to that scenario, but we wanted to create a company risk score. We wanted to see if you took and created and measured your individuals, and you measured your company, that algorithm rolls up and becomes like a credit score. And again, we're the only one in the industry that does this. It actually allows an individual or a company who's over the training to understand where they fit in their competitive matrix. So in this case, the company isn't horrible. They're not in the low, in the red, but they're not doing great. We give them an outline of where they may be lacking. Maybe it's knowledge. Maybe it's taking the lessons. Maybe it's their employees' view towards security. It's all IT's problem. It's not mine. Again, 95% of the error is caused by human error, not the IT department. So again, this risk score is something that's very valuable and things that we've seen our customers be very attentive to because they have some type of measurement. We also include phishing. So we can allow, and this is something that RapidScale is helping us with and something as a service they're going to be able to offer to you, to your customers, the ability to run phishing simulations. That's included in the cost. A lot of vendors out there in the market space charge for that service. This is included. And I think that's a really important factor because you could test your customers every day of the week, 365 days for the same cost. Might get a little old to be putting that together, but the phishing simulations are included. There's templates. There's going to be more templates that will be available with the integration into Mimecast as an email security company. Let's go into the...
Hey, Carrie, real quick. This is Andrew. So talk to me a little bit about that phishing, right? Because I think, obviously phishing and impersonation, all that's kind of a really big topic within, the anti-spam malware space. What does that look like, right? How are you guys accomplishing that? What kind of data are you doing around that? Maybe even, I guess, for those folks that don't understand what phishing is, and not the one on the boat, right? That I like to do on the weekends. But
me too.
what exactly is this?
Sure.
Just a quick explanation.
Great point, Andrew. So phishing is something that happens every day to companies. We have hackers out there sending malicious information into a corporation. We as security companies are doing everything we can, again, as a technology, to block that, to identify it. Not being 100%, which no one is out in the market, things may get through, especially impersonation attacks, Andrew, that you mentioned. Those impersonation attacks mimicking a CEO telling a CFO to send $10,000 to this bank account. He's on vacation. That's a pretty common thing that happens now.
Too common,
right? I was actually at a customer event just a couple of weeks ago presenting this, and the CFO piped up and said, yeah, that happened to me about 2 weeks ago. I got an email, and the CEO was on vacation, and he said, can you wire some money to this account? And he was like, wow, that's kind of odd. But so he responded in the email, and he said, well, how much do I need to wire? And the response was, how much do you have? Okay, that was a trigger. He obviously knew that was an error, right? But for a minute, he responded. So that could have been that impersonation attack. So what we will do, to answer your question, Andrew, is we're going to be able to have phishing templates. And those templates are going to be an email template, and you'll be able to customize it for your company. You'll be able to customize some of the links, but they're going to be safe documents. And that's how you test your end users. You test them by sending out a safe phishing simulation, something that won't do any harm to the organization. And then you can score them. Did they open it? Did they click on the URL? Did they attend the training? And we're able to actually give you a report on that as well. All throughout each of these pieces you see on this particular dashboard, you can report on each segment of that and really even drill down to the end user to find out how risky they are to the company. Andrew, anything you want to add on the phishing?
No, I think so. On the phishing side, a lot of companies are doing this already themselves, right? At least into the IT directors that kind of care. they're already kind of having some type of testing where they'll send out some stuff to employees to see if they're going to open the attachment for somebody they don't know, right, or test them on that end. So I think in terms of opening up the conversation to position a solution like this with some of your customers, I would ask them, like, what kind of phishing testing are you guys doing today, right? Do you have any? If so, can I see some of the templates? What has it been the typical response, right? Who's failing and whatnot? Very big in the financial space for people to do this kind of stuff. So probably just a door opener, right, to kind of start to have the conversation around this particular user training as well as just the entire suite of Mimecast products.
You bet. And one thing I do want to touch on is that RapidScale will also, as a partner of ours, we're actually releasing a new product that's coming out in the next, I think, 40 to 50 days. And RapidScale will tell you more about it as we release it. They're aware of it. But it's actually where we're going to be actually leveraging phishing simulations or impersonation attacks that we have caught in the wild. So as we catch an impersonation attack to a CFO from a CEO in a financial institution, we're actually going to be able to take that live document. We're going to make it safe, so it's safe and secure for you to use as a template. But it'll actually look much more real. Right now on the market, what you typically find is people are creating them. They're working with email vendors to try and partner up and get some of those saved templates, but that's pretty kludgy right now. It's not really working with many of the email vendors. So just be aware that that's a product that's going to be coming out. So you'll actually have databases of verticals and type of attacks they were, but they will actually be safe to use. So that's an added benefit that's coming, and again, that's all included in the cost of the license.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move forward. So one of the things I wanted to share with you kind of at the end is, why does it matter? Why does it matter? Well, it matters because 95% of the breaches are caused by human error. What we've actually been able to do is track statistically the changes. If a company takes training and they go through, and again, our consumption rate is the low 70s, mid 80s, they take that training, we're actually able to show statistically the benefit of that training. We're actually able to break it down into the individuals. So if you look at our phishing, an individual that started with our, this is prior to bringing on the awareness training by Mimecast. Those that hadn't taken the training previously were about 33% likely, right? We're at about 33%. We've actually been able to knock down and lower that phishing attack. We've trained the companies, we've trained the individuals. They can recognize phishing simulations. They know what to do before opening something. So we've actually been able to improve that to an 81%, where they're less risky to open up a phishing. So you can see that's a dramatic increase of people changing behavior. And at the end of the day, training needs to change the behavior. You need to change the conversation. You don't have to do it just the same old way they've been doing it. Maybe the IT director's creating it. Maybe it's through an email. Maybe it's through some face-to-face discussion where everybody is just bored out of their brains because they have to listen to it once a year. We want to offer consistent training. We offer these lessons every month. We go through those lessons, so it's very consistent training. We test every month. So again, it takes about 2.5 to 4 minutes to take the entire training, including the test. So it's very short, it's concise, it's memorable. We're changing the conversation. So Andrew, with that, I'd like to turn it back over to you, and guess we'll open it up for some questions.
Yeah, no, so that's obviously great stuff. And I think the biggest thing, right, is, let's be very frank, right? People make mistakes and people do stupid things. And typically any type of whether it's a DDoS or malware, whatever it is because they opened up something they weren't supposed to. So obviously being able to eliminate that human error, obviously we can never eliminate it, right? But I guess mitigate it would be the better way to do it. So that being said, yeah, let's kind of open this up for questions. I know I kind of have a few, but I will ask, I'll kind of throw it to Summer to see what we've been asked thus far.
Yeah, so one that came in is, who do you target in the sales process for this new product?
Great question. So the first people you should look to are in the IT department. You should look at the CISO, which typically owns the budget. It is a CISO problem and a CISO requirement to fix. This could be also the director of ITs as it's rolled down from the CISO. Occasionally, in some organizations, especially very, very large organizations, sometimes human resources get involved. But if you can keep it over into the director of IT and the CISO, that IT organization, security organization, that's typically where the budget resides.
Awesome. We just had another one come in. Are there marketing sheets that channel partners can use to target their customers?
Absolutely. And Summer, you're part of that with the with the co-branding, so I'll let you probably answer that. But yes, there are documents.
Yes, and we will get those from Mimecast, kind of co-brand them together and make those available to you guys, most likely in the partner portal where you can normally find everything. So if you don't have access to our partner portal yet, just let me know following this training and we will make sure you get set up in there. What is the cost of this solution for me as the ISP?
Andrew, I'll leave that to you.
Yeah. So I mean, the costs are, to keep it simple, it's around $1 per user per month.
Okay.
Yeah, keep it simple. That's what it is.
Can they leverage a current learning management system?
Yes, so a lot of times you're going to find large organizations have a current learning management system. This is where most of the required training across the organization is taken. HR trainings or your job-specific training. What we actually do is we actually feed this risk report and the data back into the learning management system. So yes, we can work on, we have that connection through an API connection for them to leverage the learning management system if they have one.
Awesome. We have a lot of questions coming in, you guys, so I'm just going to keep going until our time is up.
Yep.
Are there industry-specific templates for this training?
Industry-specific templates. I may not understand the question, but there are not, if you're looking for a vertical training specific, say, to healthcare, there is a HIPAA section that is specific to that vertical for their template. I may need some clarification on what they're looking for from a template perspective. But again, training is really agnostic of vertical. So if that's your question, it's really across the industries.
Okay. Sorry, just making my way through these. How many lessons are included in a year?
Okay, so Andrew mentioned a buck a month, and what that includes is actually 14 lessons. So in a year, they will have consumed 14 lessons, and RapidScale has the ability to set that up as far as a easy button. We have a flow or a suggested process to take the first 14 lessons, or you can actually set them up and customize them in the flow and way that you would like it throughout the year.
All right, I'm going to ask two more before we wrap it up. So does the customer, for example, the security officer or CISO, have portal access to this content and the training modules that they want to use for their end user communities?
They would be able to be one of the admins as RapidScale sets them up. They would be one of the admins, so they would be able to see that. If you have a larger customer, and again, we'll go back to default to Andrew and the RapidScale team, we are happy to set up a trial account for 2 weeks. It gives them access to see the lessons. It gives them access to see the risk score in a demo environment. But again, usually once you show them the content, and RapidScale and myself are very happy to set up a demo for any customer that you have or prospect. So hopefully that answered the question.
And finally, I'm going to have this be the final question, you guys, but again, you are free to have more in-depth conversations with our team and Carrie following today's training. How often is the content refreshed or updated to address current end user security threats as they emerge?
Okay, we create 12 lessons every new year, and those are addressing the current issues that we face. So we typically build them in 3 or 4 at a segment at a time. So we go through the year and we're constantly adding lessons. We will come out with 12 new ones. When we purchased this company about 6-8 months ago, we've actually put in some additional trainings onto that roadmap. One of them is to talk more about executive training. So there's going to be an executive training track that's going to be about 6 sessions. And then there's going to be a secure devs ops added to that. So we're actually really producing about 24 this year. So
I'm actually going to ask one more just because it's a really good question for everyone to be aware of. Is there a certain size customer that this product is best suited for?
I would say, Andrew, I'm going to also have you chime in on this, but I think we're talking more around the 25 to 30 plus customers. And Andrew, that's probably a business decision.
I mean, I guess it kind of just depends, right? So let's first off, kind of depends on what they have. I mean, I don't think we really all want to be turning around for $25 orders, right? So, I think if it's, let's say you got a 15-user business, right, that's got a few other services with us and it makes sense, certainly we'll do it. I mean, there's some setup that goes on and kind of some management there to happen, but obviously just, we want to keep it in reason. But yeah, I mean, from a floor perspective, call it 25 to 50 for this. But, certainly if there's an opportunity or there's some interest in the product and the solution, let's have a conversation to see if there's a little more, little bigger piece of the pie that we can get from an AV perspective or archiving or what have you.
Yeah, and this is absolutely a scalable product. Right now we have a customer that's 110,000 users looking at this, and we have customers that are at 100 users. So it's a very scalable product. Summer, I was going to suggest if you want to send the questions over to me, I'd be happy to answer them so you have them written out, and then you could forward those out with the packet.
Perfect. Yes, I'm logging them right now, so we can do that.
Andrew, I'll turn the time over to you.
Yeah, great. So, I mean, we're 3 after. I mean, I think that kind of covers it. Obviously, Carrie, thank you for the time. Thank you for going through this. I mean, it's a really cool product, a nice add-on, especially when in the days of age, which are security related, right? Everybody's talking about security, whether it's network, whether it's email, physical, what have you. So, thanks for bringing this to us. Obviously, thanks for being a great partner with us. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself, Summer, directly to Summer. Send it, she can loop me in, and Carrie, or answer anything that you have. So thanks, everybody, for your time. Have a great rest of the week, great month, and look forward to hopefully seeing everybody relatively soon. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.